This is Nightline, and I'm Sabrina Zainal. News making the headlines. PHBN confident of capturing 2 opposition-led states. And MACC hunting for agent who allegedly solicited bribe in KLIA incident. Good morning. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, has identified an individual suspected of being a middleman in a case involving a foreign tourist who allegedly failed to comply with entry requirements set by the Immigration Department. According to an MACC source, the Commission is currently tracking down the agent who allegedly asked for a bribe of 18,000 ringgit to solve the case that occurred at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA, recently. The source said that several immigration officers involved in the incident would be called to give their statements. So far, the MACC has recorded statements from 2 main witnesses who are Chinese nationals, as well as Tourism, Art and Culture Minister Datuk Sri Tiong King Sing, who was also linked to the case. The source added that the anti-graft agency viewed seriously the corruption allegations in the incident and that a comprehensive investigation was underway to confirm the matter. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki confirmed that the case is being investigated under the MACC Act. He also urged all parties not to make speculations and to give time for the MACC to complete its probe. It was previously reported that a commotion occurred at the KLIA when Datuk Sri Tiong allegedly attempted to rescue a female Chinese national who was denied entry into the country. The incident went viral on social media when the minister was said to have barged into the arrival hall without a security pass. Meanwhile, the Immigration Department will not protect any of its personnel suspected of corruption and integrity violations and is ready to take action at the departmental level based on existing legal provisions. Its Director General, Datuk Roslin Jusoh, said this in reference to several local news reports on corruption allegations against several of the department's staff. In a statement on Tuesday, Datuk Roslin said the department and the Home Ministry will not compromise with any of the officers found to be involved in corruption, whether it occurs at the International Airport, KLIA, or any immigration office throughout the country. He added that the department is leaving the investigation on the allegations entirely to the MACC. He also said that the department is always in contact, discussing and sharing information with the MACC to ensure that the investigation process could be carried out more transparently, without any interference from outside parties. He stressed that the Immigration Department is also committed to improving its standard operating procedures, SOPs, to provide the best service to citizens and foreign visitors entering Malaysia. In the meantime, police have taken statements from 22 witnesses in connection with the recent commotion involving a minister at KLIA. Selangor Police Chief Datuk Hussein Omar Khan said the witnesses comprised 12 immigration officers, 4 auxiliary police officers, 4 complainants and 2 employees of a travel agency. Now, he added that the police inquiry paper will be referred to the Attorney General Chambers for further action. He also said police received 4 reports from members of the public regarding the commotion. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said he is determined to prevent all leaders, including himself, from abusing their powers to steal from the people. Reiterating his zero tolerance towards corruption, he noted that history has shown that many of those with positions have been embroiled in corrupt practices, and this must be stopped.
Saya bertekad insya-Allah diberikan kekuatan. Selagi saya diamanah sebagai pemimpin, saya tidak akan izinkan amalan menteri-menteri, termasuk Menteri Keuangan dan Perdana Menteri, menggunakan kuasa untuk menyakau. Yang lalu-lalu.
Speaking at a book launch event in Putrajaya on Tuesday, Datuk Sri Anwar stressed that he was not a puppet of anyone and cannot be bought with money. He added, as someone holding the country's top post, he will continue to ensure the government will always uphold the principles of Islam and ensure the rights and justice for all Malaysians are safeguarded. On another matter, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has expressed his confidence that political parties aligned with the unity government will not only retain the 3 existing states, but also wrest 2 other states controlled by the opposition in the upcoming state elections. The Prime Minister, who is also Pakatan Harapan chairman, said this was based on the reading on the ground and the development in the country's political landscape.
Saya lihat 3 negeri itu sangat kuat, boleh bertahan insya-Allah, dan kita boleh sekarang ni nampak menjurus kepada kedua negeri lagi. Di mana? Itu saya akan umumkan pada masa.
Of the 6 states that will be facing elections, 3, namely Penang, Selangor and Negeri Sembilan, were controlled by PH. The remaining states, namely Kedah, Kelantan and Terengganu, were under the administration of PAS and its allies in Perikatan Nasional. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Anwar also said that the seat negotiation for the upcoming state polls between PH and Barisan Nasional have been finalized. He added that there was no issue of overlapping seats between both coalitions as of now, following a meeting between him and BN Chairman Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi recently. On Monday, it was reported that the Election Commission will hold a special meeting on Wednesday to discuss important dates for the 6 state elections.
Suami mati di sisi dia dengan keadaan nazar.
Bidin satir atau dikenali sebagai Rambo Bentung.
Hidup nomad dalam hutan. Rogol bersiri yang berperwatakan aneh membunuh dan merogol seorang remaja.
Kekal menjalani hukuman gantung sampai mati.
Fail Mahkamah, Rabu 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD di Tonton.
Starting from Tuesday, the mandatory death penalty and life imprisonment in Malaysia have been abolished with the implementation of the Abolition of Mandatory Death Penalty Act 2023, Act 846. Deputy Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Law and Institutional Reform, Ramkarpal Singh, said the repeal aims to respect the right of every individual to live in this country and ensure justice for all parties. In a statement on Tuesday, Ramkarpal said the act was gazetted on June 16, 2023. Additionally, the revision of sentence of death and imprisonment for natural life, temporary jurisdiction of the Federal Court Bill 2023, received royal assent on June 9th, but is not yet in effect. According to Ramkarpal, applications for the review of the death sentence or life imprisonment under Act 847 can only be filed once there is a determination of the effective date of Act 847 by the Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Law and Institutional Reform, Datuk Seri Azalina Othman Said, through a notification in the Federal Government Gazette later. Malaysia has maintained its sovereign immunity in its legal fight against the self-proclaimed heirs of the Sulu Sultanate in the European arbitration courts. According to Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Law and Institutional Reform, Datuk Seri Azalina Othman Said, no state should be subject to the jurisdiction of the court of another state, adding this was a principle recognized under customary international law.
The government of Malaysia has been consistently raising timely objections against the claimants' blatant attempt in forum shopping, the jurisdiction of the arbitrator, the continuation of the arbitral proceedings, despite the Spanish court orders and the unprecedented shift in the seat of arbitration, as well as the delivery of the purported final award.
Datuk Seri Azalina was speaking via Zoom from Japan during the International Arbitration Colloquium 2023, themed State Sovereignty and Immunity in Commercial Arbitration, which was held in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah on Tuesday. She added that she hoped the success obtained through the Hague Court of Appeal decision will contribute to subsequent successes in ongoing proceedings commenced by the government in challenging the recognition and enforcement of the purported final award in other jurisdictions, including in Luxembourg. The minister said the Unity Madani government would also legislate a State Immunity Act with the purpose of codifying the principle of state immunity as part of Malaysian law to reflect Malaysia's effort to ensure the sovereignty of states were protected in the event that similar frivolous claims were brought against those states before the courts of Malaysia. The Transport Ministry will explore the possibility of working closely with Media Prima Berhad MPB to advocate road safety and encourage usage of public transportation among Malaysians. Its Minister, Anthony Loke Siu Fook, said media was a primary platform to disseminate information to the people, and it could also play the role of an educator to society.
Pihak Kementerian Pengangkutan perlu ada kolaborasi dan kerjasama yang lebih erat dengan pihak Media Prima. Banyak yang boleh kita lakukan untuk memberikan mesej kepada masyarakat. Antara perkara yang utama yang saya selalu tekankan iaitu untuk membudayakan pengangkutan awam di kalangan rakyat Malaysia dan juga nak menyebarkan maklumat dan juga kesedaran berkenaan dengan keselamatan jalan raya.
The minister said this after a corporate visit to Media Prima Berhad in Sri Pentas on Tuesday. Loke was greeted on arrival by MPB Group Chairman Datuk Sri Dr. Syed Hussein Al-Junid, MPB Group Managing Director Rafiq Razali, and New Straits Times Press Group Managing Editor Datuk Ahmad Zaini Kamaruzzaman. He was taken on a tour of the Media Prima Audio Conti, as well as the News and Editorial Operations Room, including the set of TV3's flagship news bulletin, Buletin Utama. Loke said the visit gave him an insight into the daily operations of the media world, and he had gained a better understanding. In a closed-door meeting, he also said both parties shared and exchanged information and knowledge on the direction and trends of the media in Malaysia. After this breather, Israel continues violent raid into second consecutive night. Details when we return. Back with news on the foreign front. Israeli forces continued their violent military operations in the occupied West Bank city of Jenin for a second night. According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, a total of 10 people were killed in the operation on Monday, and at least 100 others were wounded, 20 of them seriously. The Israeli Defense Force soldiers continued attacking the homes and properties of the camp's inhabitants, forcing hundreds of people to flee their homes, where electricity and water services had been severely damaged. A spokesperson for the World Health Organization, WHO, said that medical staff were prevented from entering the site to treat those who were wounded, including those critically injured. Now, the Palestinian leadership, in the meantime, has agreed to stop all contacts and meetings with Israel and immediately turned to the UN Security Council in response to the attack. It also called for an urgent meeting of the Arab League to address the offensive. Meanwhile, Malaysia has condemned in the strongest terms the airstrikes conducted by the Israeli regime in Jenin. In a statement, the Foreign Ministry said the escalation of violence has exacerbated the already dire situation in the occupied Palestinian territory, and many innocent lives have been lost due to Israeli aggression. Wisma Putra added that the continued provocation, aggression and incessant atrocities committed by the Israeli forces are a flagrant violation of international and humanitarian laws. Thus, Malaysia demands Israel to immediately stop the bloodshed and allow unimpeded access for the people in Jenin to humanitarian and healthcare services. Wisma Putra has also called once again on the international community to demand for the Israeli regime to halt its heinous crimes against Palestinians. Thailand's new government on Tuesday took a step closer to forming after the parliament confirmed veteran politician Wan Muhammad Nur Mata of the Pracha Chart Party as the Speaker of the newly elected House of Representatives. The nomination of 79-year-old Wan Muhammad Nur was widely seen as a compromise between alliance partners Move Forward and Pheu Thai, which have sparred for weeks over the speakership, a post crucial to the passage of bills and the timing of key legislative votes. He was the only nomination, and as the only nomination, no vote was required to endorse the 79-year-old politician. His selection is currently pending royal approval. Meanwhile, Move Forward party leader Pita Limjarunrat said that the decision was reached in order to preserve the unity of the work among parties of the coalition government and that he fully trusts Wan Muhammad Nur to serve the post with integrity and for the right causes. Moving on, a gunman killed at least 5 people and injured 2 children in a mass shooting in Philadelphia on Monday night, in the latest outbreak of gun violence in the United States. According to authorities, 3 of the 5 people killed were all male and aged between 20 and 59. It was reported that the shooting took place across at least 3 locations in the neighborhood of King Sessing in southwest Philadelphia before police officers were able to apprehend the suspect. The suspected shooter surrendered in an alleyway after continuing to fire while being pursued. He was found wearing a bulletproof vest in possession of several magazines, a rifle, handgun, and a police scanner. An investigation is now underway to determine the motive behind the shooter's actions. In other news, the South Korean National Police Agency is investigating 193 cases of babies not registered at birth amid a string of child abuse cases, including the discovery of 2 dead newborns being kept in a refrigerator. Officials said police have been expanding its probe into cases of ghost babies who have medical records of birth but no official birth registration, as the government launched a nationwide campaign to check the well-being of more than 2,000 unregistered babies. Officials said the police agency has received 209 ghost baby cases so far, and 193 of them are currently under investigation. Of the total, 11 of them have been confirmed dead, 7 without any foul play, while the remaining 4 cases are under investigation for suspected crimes. The campaign came after a mother was charged with strangling her 2 newborns and secretly keeping their bodies in a refrigerator in her apartment in Suwon. Japan has won approval from the UN's nuclear watchdog on Tuesday for its plan to release treated radioactive water from the tsunami-wrecked Fukushima plant into the ocean, despite fierce resistance from Beijing and some local residents. After a 2-year review, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, said Japan's plans were consistent with global safety standards and would have a negligible radiological impact on the environment. Japan has not specified a date to start the water release, pending official approval from the National Nuclear Regulatory Body, whose final word on the plan, unveiled in 2021, could come as early as this week. Fishing unions and some neighboring countries have long opposed the plan, saying it would undo work to repair reputations and its looming threat to the marine environment, with Beijing emerging as the biggest critic. Japan's government, however, maintains its stance, saying the process is safe as the water has been treated. Onto sports. Tennis, the 2023 Wimbledon. Novak Djokovic started his bid for a record equaling 8th title with a solid first-round win over Pedro Cachin. Djokovic was broken early by the world number 68, but quickly recovered and always looked in control as he won 6-3, 6-3, 7-6. The world number 2 also lended a hand drying the grass after play was delayed for over an hour due to wet patches on center court. Eventually, the match resumed with the roof open again, and Djokovic sealed his place in the second round where he faces Jordan Thompson. Joining Djokovic was three-time Grand Slam runner-up Casper Ruud. The world number 4 had earlier battled past French qualifier Laurent Locoli 6-1, 5-7, 6-4, 6-3 to reach the second round on Monday and matched his best showing at the Grand Slam. The Roland Garros finalist next plays local wildcard Liam Brody, who eased past unseeded Frenchman Constant Lestienne. Also through to the next round was Yannick Sinner. 8th seed Sinner eased into the second round with a straight sets win over Argentina's Juan Manuel Cerundolo. The Italian broke Cerundolo's serve twice in each set, taking all three by a 6-2 scoreline and sealing victory in an hour and 31 minutes. Sinner, a quarter-finalist in last year's Wimbledon Championships, will face Cerundolo's compatriot Diego Schwartzman in the next round. In the women's event, Venus Williams' 24th Wimbledon campaign ended on Monday on center court, as the five-time tournament champion was beaten in the first round by Elina Svitolina 6-4, 6-3. With the victory, Svitolina improved her career head-to-head record against Williams to 4-1 and advances to a second-round match against number 28 seed Elise Mertens, who had earlier beat Slovakian qualifier Victoria Hrunčáková 7-6, 6-2. In another match, 7th seed Coco Gauff was knocked out in the opening round after being beaten in 3 sets by fellow American Sofia Kenin. Gauff lost the opening set, but the 19-year-old leveled the match after breaking qualifier Kenin serve in the 10th game of the second set. World number 128 Kenin claimed 2 service breaks in the decider, though, before serving out a 6-4, 4-6, 6-2 victory, which set up a second-round meeting with Wang Xinyu. Still to come, more bodies found in water surge tragedy. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The body of the 8th victim of the water surge tragedy at Juram Air Putih in Kemaman, Terengganu was recovered by search and rescue SAR personnel at about 3 p.m. on Tuesday. District Police Chief Superintendent Hanyan Ramlan said the body of the victim, identified as 16-year-old Putri Alia Maisara Karim, was found on a sandbank 2 kilometers from the site of the incident. Putri Alia Maisara's body was spotted just 500 meters from that of her brothers, 11-year-old Muhammad Zulkarnain Haikal Karim, who was found on Sunday. Her remains were then brought to Sultanah Nur Zahira Hospital for post-mortem. Earlier in the morning, the body of the seventh victim, 18-year-old Putri Balkis Izati Abdul Rahman, was also recovered near the river behind Kampung Dadong Mosque, about 24 kilometers from the location of the incident. The SAR operation for the remaining two victims, 14-year-old Putri Nurfatin Karim and 24-year-old Muhammad Fikri Saliman, was then halted at 6:30 p.m. and will resume on Wednesday. Meanwhile, 7 of the victims' bodies have been brought back to their hometown in Gambang Pahang for last rites and burials on Tuesday evening. It was reported previously that the family of 9 from Felda Lepar Hilir, Kuantan, and another individual from Batu Pahat, Johor, who was engaged to a member of the family, went for a picnic at the location on Saturday before being swept away by strong currents caused by the water surge. Perak police are looking for a male suspect linked to the firing of 5 shots at a house in Kuala Kurau early Tuesday. State Police Chief Datuk Seri Muhammad Yusri Hassan Basri said police received a report from a man on a shooting incident in front of his house at about 3 a.m. In a statement, he said police then rushed to the scene to investigate the matter. The man lives with his wife and 4 children at the affected house. Further investigations found bullet holes on the car, motorcycle and sliding door of the victim's house. He added that no injuries were reported in the incident, and police also found 5 9mm caliber bullet shells at the scene. Investigations also showed that a male suspect was riding a motorcycle before firing several shots at the house. Police were investigating the motive, and the case is being probed under the Firearms Increased Penalties Act 1971. Stargazers and astrophiles from Los Angeles to Istanbul rushed outdoors to see the first supermoon of the year on Monday night. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at the supermoon, which was flushed with amber and red tones, making its appearance all over the world. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for watching and stay safe.